morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told how to voice the radio. So today, there's a new Lucario. And I know that Stage 1 fighting Pokemon are like catnip to me in the Pokemon TCG, so I'm going to get more excited about Stage 1 fighting Pokemon than your average person. And I did just get a Riolu in the Pokemon Advent calendar I've been opening. But today, ladies and gentlemen, there is a new Lucario, and this one looks really, really good. And I'm a little bit happy. Now, they did actually show us the Riolu as well. I don't think the Riolu is much to get too excited about. I do adore the artwork. The artwork here is brilliant. But it's 60 HP, 2 energy, 50 damage. I don't think we need to spend much time talking about Riolu. And I think if we do, it's, well, I'll be honest with you, right? I'm a busy dude. I'm running my own business here. I've got 2 kids home, 3rd on the way. It's not a good use of my time right now, okay? However, new Lucario, well, that looks like a very, very good use of my time indeed. Translation here from the lovely Antoine Boulet, who is, of course, one of our very, very favourites. So, there are things not to like about this. 120 HP, don't like it. It's in range of a Rapid Strike Urshifu. That's generally not very good. And also 120's just a little bit low. And you got Psychic Weakness, although honestly the 120 HP means the weakness is largely irrelevant. But I love the fighting type, because the fact of the matter is there are a bunch of Pokemon around at the moment that are weak to fighting, and you're going to be able to have a bit of a field day against. Jolteon VMAX, that's a good card that's seeing a bunch of play, weak to fighting. Crobat V, still a staple in most decks, weak to fighting. Gengar, very good deck, seeing a bunch of play, weak to fighting. So, I'm loving your typing here. And even if you're not playing Quad Lucario, even if you're playing a few other things as well, there are going to be enough things that you are hitting for weakness here to make you pretty gosh darn happy about it, which is lovely. And the ability here is going to look really rather similar to one we've seen before. What it allows you to do is to put 2 damage counters on this Pokemon, and then search your deck for a fighting energy and attach it to Lucario. And by now, most of you are going, it's Charizard! And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Charizard. It is the Charizard from Team Up, and might I remind you at this stage that Charizard was not a terrible card. Sure, it's dropped off lately, I completely admit that. But Shintaro Ito, I believe, went and placed very, very highly. I want to say 3rd place at a giant 1,500-person tournament over in Japan. This is a deck that saw a bunch of play and a bunch of success and a bunch of love. Now, Charizard did accelerate 2 energy rather than 1, and both of these are dependent on how much energy you've got on there, so that is relevant. But Charizard was also a Stage 2, and the biggest downside of Charizard was the Stage 2. Lucario comes in as a Stage 1. This is a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very good thing indeed. So getting the energy on isn't going to be a huge problem here. That's rather wonderful. How much damage can we do? Well, in this regard, it's also extremely similar to Charizard as well. What you do is you do a base of 10 damage, and you discard all fighting energy from this Pokemon, and you deal 60 more damage for each energy discarded. So, general theory, and again, it's general, we'll get more specific in a minute, but generally speaking, what you're going to do here is use the ability, get an energy, attach a second energy, 130 damage. Well, straight off the bat, without even trying, without any other energy acceleration, any other tricks, this should be a pseudo single energy 130 damage attack. This should be a pretty straightforward way to do 130 damage every turn. Now, given my penchant for decks like Excadrill and Donphan, that are Stage 1 fighting Pokemon that can do 120 for a single energy, this is pretty sweet. Now, when I say for a single energy, it essentially is because of the ability, and we don't really have ways to ability lock single prize Pokemon at the moment, but of course you might run out of energy in your deck, and that will be the main reason this wouldn't be essentially a single prize attack. The question then becomes whether we're in a format at the moment where this can be good enough? And the answer is maybe not, but that's all going to change. Now, obviously, against Crobat, this is a super easy 2-prize knockout. That's lovely. Against Jolteon, it depends. Against Jolteon V, job's a good one, there's your KO. Against Jolteon V Max, no. You're doing 260. Against Gengar, easy KO. But against Gengar V Max, not quite good enough. So, Pokemon V, yes, especially hitting for weakness. But Pokemon V Max are an issue here. You're 2-hit KOing if they're weak, 3-hit KOing if they're not. And I know, right, I completely understand. We're talking about 3-hit KOing for 3 prizes, where you're being 1-hit KO'd for 1 prize, but you've also got to look at the potential for your opponent to heal, and you've got to look at the resources you're expending to do this. It's not necessarily going to be the easiest way around or the easiest way to do so, and that's a little bit sad. So yes, if you're hitting for weakness, this is brilliant. If you're not hitting for weakness, I'm not entirely loving it, because of VMAXs. But you see, VMAXs aren't staying around that much longer. VMAXs generally have regulation marks of D and E. And I know there are going to be a few, like Aggron, for instance, that do have a regulation mark of F, but they are few and far between, and to put it bluntly, they don't look like the best ones out there, so I think we're probably going to be alright. And when Pokemon VMAX go away, we're going to be left with VSTAR. And incidentally, I've made this point on this channel, I do believe with all of my heart that Pokemon VMAX are gone. I am certain that they are gone and they are not coming back. And sure, you know, we got a surprise Pikachu VMAX the other day and that was rather lovely, but that doesn't actually mean that VMAXs are coming back. So we're going to be left with VSTAR. And when we look at VSTAR, things start looking an awful lot more interesting. Because if we look at the biggest VSTAR we've seen so far, if we look at the 2 biggest, baddest ones around, we've got Arceus and Charizard, and how much HP do they have? 280. You're hitting 130. So if you can find any way to do an extra 10 damage, Vitality Band, although that will obviously be rotating out at some point, Galarian Zigzagoon, which again will be rotating out, but there's always a way, is my point, there's always a way to do a little bit of extra damage, then you're essentially hitting 140 a turn, which means you're 2-hit KOing V-Stars. Now it's only for 2 prizes, admittedly, but that gives them a lot less chance to heal. And you're getting rid of all of their resources. And if V-Star format is where we're going, then I like this quite a lot indeed. I am worried that you won't have enough energy in your deck, and that's a little bit of a problem, but there's plenty of energy recovery cards out there we can work with. And I just really like this. Now, I have been talking up to now about your general rule. I've been talking about that situation where you attach 1 from your hand, 1 using the ability, and off you go. But that is not the only way this works. If we get good fighting energy acceleration, this becomes absolutely nuts. And even before then, we've got B. And I know B isn't going to last forever. B's on a regulation mark of D, which means that it will be rotating out, unfortunately, in a year's time, which is your August, September 2022. But until that happens, we've still got B. And what B allows you to do is discard the top 5 cards of your deck, attach any energy you just find there to your bench fighting Pokemon in any way you like. If you hit well on B, then Lucario gets absolutely over the top, nuts, broken good. This is what turns Lucario from a cool little rogue deck into an amazing deck. And it doesn't have to be every turn. You can have a few turns of hitting for 130 consistently, but then you get that one big turn where you hit free energy off a B, and then all of a sudden you're hitting a big 260, and that 3-hit KO on a VMAX is a 2-hit KO. Or you're 1-hit KOing a Pokemon V-Star, or whatever, and that is where things change. If you hit well with B, oh, you are going to be in a very, very good mood indeed. And that's why I love Lucario. Yes, it's a stage 1 Pokemon that essentially attacks for a single energy. Obviously, that's everything I'm looking for. But the fact of the matter is, you've got a good Pokemon, which is going to tick along nicely, doing 130 per turn, and that's lovely. And then you are going to get those turns with B where you go absolutely nuts. And that is going to be amazing. Or maybe it's not B. Maybe you, instead of going for the giant thing with B, maybe you go for something like Raihan as an argument. Not as good a gym leader as B, but Raihan, if you had a Pokemon KO during your opponent's last turn, and with Lucario you will, you attach a basic energy from your discard to one of your Pokemon, and then you search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. So you're getting the energy and a bit of consistency, i.e. you just get a Raihan for next turn because you've got some Pokemon draw going on. And if you're chaining Raihan, then essentially you've got 190 a turn. And 190 is better than 130. And you can still get those giant turns with B, and that's why I love it here. You can sit there ticking along quite nicely, or you can try going the mid-range with Raihan, 190 is quite nice, or you can go for those big turns with B, and it's all there in one card. I love this. I'm giving it 4 Wassies. This is my new pet deck. I couldn't make Donphan work, but I feel like I might be able to make this work. Either way, this looks like one of the most interesting and exciting cards to me they've done for a while. I absolutely love it, but I do think it's legit. And I do think that without stuff like Raihan or B, you are going to be in a bit more trouble. And I do think that this is a better card in a format with Pokemon VSTAR than I think it is in a format with VMAX. But I think this is one of those where if you discount it, you could get in some trouble pretty quickly. And it's a stage 1, play some other cards along with it, you'll be fine. I love this, but I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.